Welcome to Chapter Sleep, your sanctuary for peaceful nights and quiet journeys. Here, every story is a new destination designed to help you unwind and rest. Before we depart on tonight's journey, I'd love to know, where in the world are you joining us from? Please share it in the comments below. It's comforting to know we are traveling together from so many different places. If you find peace in our stories, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a gentle like on this video. Your support acts as the fuel for our journeys, helping us bring more quiet moments to dreamers around the world. Now it's time to let go. Find your most comfortable position, adjust your pillows, and close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath and leave the noise of the day behind. Let the rhythm of the story guide you gently into dreams. The Snowy Express. Chapter 1. The Departure. You are standing on a platform that stretches into the winter night, like a narrow ribbon of weathered wood and frost-covered stone. The air is cold, achingly cold, and it touches your face with the delicate precision of 1,000 tiny needles, each one bringing with it the sharp clarity of deep winter. You can feel the temperature settling into your skin, into the spaces between your scarf and your collar, reminding you that you are very much alive, very much awake, and very much alone on this platform in the middle of the silent, sleeping countryside. The station itself is small, almost impossibly small, built from dark timber that has aged into a rich, deep brown over countless seasons of rain and snow and summer sun. The wood has a texture to it, a grain that you can see even in the dim light, lines and whorls that tell stories of decades, perhaps even a century of existence. The platform is covered in a thin layer of snow, untouched except for your own footprints trailing behind you from the station house. Each footprint a dark impression in the pristine white surface, already beginning to blur at the edges as new flakes drift down from the sky above. The snow is falling gently, so gently that each individual flake seems to hang in the air for a moment before continuing its slow descent to the ground. You can see them in the cone of golden light that spills from the single lamppost standing near the center of the platform, each flake catching the light and glittering like a tiny fragment of crystal, spinning slowly as it falls. The lamplight itself is warm, a soft amber glow that seems almost liquid in its quality, pooling on the snow beneath the lamp and fading gradually into the surrounding darkness. You pull your coat more tightly around yourself, feeling the weight of the fabric, the texture of wool against your gloved hands. The buttons are cold and smooth, round discs of dark horn that catch the faint light. You can hear the whisper of fabric against fabric as you adjust your scarf, winding it once more around your neck, tucking the ends carefully into the front of your coat to seal away any gaps where the cold might slip through. Your breath rises in front of your face, a cloud of vapor that catches the lamplight for just a moment before dissipating into the night air. Each exhale is visible, a reminder of the warmth inside you meeting the cold outside, creating something visible and temporary and beautiful.
You breathe slowly, watching this phenomenon, watching the way each breath appears and then vanishes over and over, a rhythm as natural and constant as your heartbeat.
The silence here is profound. There are no cars on distant roads, no voices, no music drifting from open windows. The only sound is the faint whisper of falling snow, a sound so quiet it is almost imagined, and the occasional creak of the wooden platform beneath your feet as the old timber adjusts to your weight and to the cold. Even your own breathing seems loud in this stillness. Each inhale and exhale, a soft sound that quickly dissolves into the vast quietness surrounding you. You look down the tracks, two parallel lines of steel that gleam dully in the lamplight before disappearing into the darkness. The rails are clear of snow for the most part, their metal surfaces too cold, too smooth for the flakes to settle properly. They stretch away into the night, perfectly straight at first, then curving gently to the left, vanishing behind a stand of tall pine trees whose dark shapes are just barely visible against the slightly lighter sky.
The trees are heavy with snow, each branch bowed under its white burden, creating shapes that are soft and rounded, all sharp edges hidden beneath layers of accumulation. You can see the silhouettes of these trees against the deep blue-black of the night sky, a color that is not quite black, but not quite any other color either. A shade that exists only in winter nights when snow is falling and the world feels muffled and distant. Above you, the sky is clouded, but not completely. There are breaks in the clouds, small rifts through which you can see stars, distant points of light that seem impossibly far away, impossibly bright. The moon is up there somewhere, hidden behind the layers of cloud, but its light diffuses through, creating a faint luminescence that gives the snow a gentle glow, as if the ground itself were radiating a soft, cool light.
You shift your weight from one foot to the other, feeling the cold beginning to seep through the soles of your boots, despite their thick construction. You can feel each toe individually, can feel the way the cold air finds its way through every layer, patient and persistent. You flex your fingers inside your gloves, creating small movements to encourage circulation, to keep the warmth flowing to your extremities. There is a small bench on the platform, just a simple wooden structure with a back and a seat, both covered now with a smooth layer of undisturbed snow. You consider sitting, but decide to remain standing, to keep moving slightly, to maintain what warmth you have generated. The bench looks peaceful in its coating of white, like something from a painting, beautiful but impractical. In the distance, so faint at first that you are not entirely sure you are hearing it, there comes a sound. It is a low sound, a deep sound, the rumble of something large and powerful moving through the landscape. You turn your head slightly, listening more carefully, and yes, there it is again, more distinct now, the unmistakable sound of a train approaching. The sound grows gradually, incrementally, building in volume so slowly that you can track its progress through the night. You can hear the rhythmic pulse of the engine, a steady mechanical heartbeat that carries through the cold air with surprising clarity. Beneath that, there is the click and clatter of wheels on rails, a percussion that is both random and perfectly ordered, chaotic and musical all at once.
You look down the tracks in the direction from which the sound is coming, peering into the darkness, waiting for the first glimpse of light. The anticipation builds in your chest, a warm feeling of expectation, of knowing that something is about to change, that this moment of solitary waiting is about to end and something new is about to begin. And then you see it. A single point of light, distant and small, appearing around the curve in the tracks, emerging from behind the dark silhouette of the pine trees. The light is warm and golden, like the lamplight on the platform, but brighter, stronger, a beacon cutting through the falling snow. As you watch, the light grows larger, and you can begin to make out the shape behind it, the dark mass of the locomotive pushing through the night. The sound increases, filling the air now, no longer faint or distant, but present and real and powerful. You can feel it as much as hear it. A vibration that travels through the rails, through the platform, up through your boots and into your bones. The train is coming, and with it comes warmth and light and the promise of a journey into the long winter night. The locomotive emerges more fully from the darkness, and you can see its shape now. Its beautiful, elegant shape. It is a vintage engine, streamlined and curved, painted in deep midnight blue with accents of gold trim that catch the light and gleam. Steam rises from various points along its length, white clouds that billow up and are caught by the wind, streaming backward along the length of the train like silk scarves in motion. The headlight at the front of the engine is brilliant, a shaft of pure white light that illuminates the falling snow, making each flake visible in its beam like a swarm of tiny stars. You raise your hand to shield your eyes slightly as the train draws closer, the light momentarily dazzling after so long in the relative darkness of the platform. The engineer sees you standing there and raises a hand in greeting, a simple gesture of acknowledgement, and you raise your own hand in return, feeling a smile form on your cold face. There is something deeply reassuring about this simple exchange, this recognition between two people in the middle of a winter night.
The train begins to slow, the rhythm of the wheels changing, the sound of the brakes engaging with a long, sustained hiss of compressed air and steam. The locomotive glides past you, majestic and unhurried, followed by car after car, each one a beautifully maintained piece of railway history. The cars are painted in the same midnight blue, with large windows through which you can see warm golden light spilling out into the night. You can see the interior of the cars as they pass, glimpses of wood paneling and brass fixtures, of plush seating and ornate light fixtures, but you see no people, no passengers visible in any of the windows. The train appears to be empty, or nearly so, reserved perhaps just for you on this particular night, a private journey through the winter landscape. The train comes to a complete stop with a final sigh of steam and a gentle lurch.
the couplings between cars settling with quiet metallic sounds. The locomotive is now well past the platform, having pulled the passenger cars into perfect position. You can see your car directly in front of you, as its door aligned precisely where you are standing, as if everything has been orchestrated specifically for your convenience. The door of the car opens, folding outward and down to create a small set of steps descending to the platform. The warm air from inside the train spills out into the cold night, and you can see it mixing with the frigid air, creating swirls of vapor that twist and curl in the lamplight. The warmth carries with it scents: polished wood, old leather, a hint of coal smoke, and something else, something like cinnamon and vanilla, comforting and inviting. A figure appears in the doorway, silhouetted against the golden light from within. It is the conductor, dressed in a crisp uniform of the same midnight blue as the train, with golden buttons running down the front and golden braid on the shoulders and cap. The conductor is elderly, with a kind face lined with years of service and countless journeys, and eyes that crinkle at the corners when they smile, which they are doing now, a smile of genuine welcome. "Good evening," the conductor says, and the voice is warm and slightly weathered, like aged oak. "Welcome to the Snowy Express. We had been expecting you."
You step forward, your feet crunching on the thin layer of snow, and the conductor extends a gloved hand to help you up the steps. The glove is white, spotless white, despite the soot and coal dust that must be part of any train's atmosphere. You take the offered hand and step up, leaving the cold platform behind, crossing the threshold from the winter night into the warm embrace of the train. The first thing that strikes you is the warmth. It envelops you immediately, a complete contrast to the cold you have been standing in, and you can feel it beginning to work its way through your layers of clothing, through your coat and scarf and gloves, seeking out the cold places and gently, gradually replacing the chill with comfort. The warmth is not aggressive or overwhelming. It is gentle and pervasive, the warmth of a well-maintained heating system that has had hours to bring every surface, every corner, every inch of space to the perfect temperature. The second thing you notice is the light. The interior of the car is lit with soft golden light that comes from fixtures mounted on the walls and ceiling, each one designed in an ornate style that speaks of craftsmanship and attention to detail. The fixtures are brass, polished to a warm glow, and the glass shades are etched with delicate patterns that scatter the light in subtle, beautiful ways. You step fully into the car, and the conductor closes the door behind you with a solid, satisfying sound, sealing you inside, protecting you from the cold and the night. The conductor moves past you with practiced ease and reaches up to take your coat. "Let me help you with that," the conductor says, and you unbutton your coat, feeling the buttons slip free one by one, and shrug the heavy garment from your shoulders. The conductor cakes it carefully, handling it as if it was something precious, and hangs it on a brass hook near the door where it can begin to dry from any melted snow. Your scarf comes next, unwound slowly from around your neck, and then your gloves, pulled from your hands one finger at a time. As each layer is removed, you feel lighter, freer, more able to appreciate the environment around you. The conductor hangs each item with care,
creating a neat arrangement that is both practical and aesthetically pleasing. "Your cabin is ready for you," the conductor says, gesturing down the length of the car. "Number 7, fourth door on the right. I'll bring tea shortly once we're underway."
You thank the conductor, your voice sounding slightly strange in your own ears after so long in silence, and begin to make your way down the narrow corridor that runs along one side of the car. The floor beneath your feet is covered in carpet, a rich burgundy carpet with an intricate pattern of gold and deep green woven through it. The carpet is thick and soft, absorbing the sound of your footsteps, creating a hushed atmosphere that feels appropriate for this late hour. The walls of the corridor are paneled in dark wood, possibly mahogany or walnut, polished to a deep luster that reflects the golden light from the fixtures overhead. The wood has a beautiful grain, flowing patterns that your eyes can follow, finding pictures in the way one might find pictures in clouds. You pass the first door, then the second, then the third. Each door is identical, made of the same dark wood as the walls, with a brass number affixed at eye level and a brass handle below it. The numbers are in an elegant script, carefully formed, each one a small work of art in itself. The fourth door is yours, number 7. You reach out and grasp the handle, feeling the cool smoothness of the brass, the weight of the mechanism inside. You turn the handle and hear the soft click of the latch releasing. You push the door open and step inside. The cabin is small, but perfectly appointed, every inch of space used with thoughtful intention. There is a window, large and clear, currently showing only the darkness outside and your own reflection in the glass, but you know that soon it will offer views of the passing winter landscape. Beneath the window is a cushioned bench seat, upholstered in deep blue velvet that looks impossibly soft, inviting you to sit and watch the world roll by. On the opposite wall is a small bed, already made up with crisp white linens and a thick quilt in a pattern of silver and blue. The pillows are plump and numerous, arranged precisely against the wooden headboard. Above the bed is a small reading lamp, its brass arm positioned so that it can be adjusted to direct light exactly where needed. There is a tiny wash basin in one corner with a mirror above it, and a small shelf holding a neatly folded hand towel and a bar of soap wrapped in paper. The mirror is oval, framed in the same dark wood that dominates the rest of the space, and its surface is spotless, reflecting the warm light of the cabin.
You step fully inside the door and close it behind you, hearing the latch click into place. The sound is quiet but definite, a small confirmation of privacy and security. You are in your space now, your small sanctuary on this train, and everything here is arranged for your comfort. Almost immediately, you feel the train begin to move. It is a subtle thing at first, a gentle vibration, a slight shift in the quality of stillness. Then there is a sound, a low mechanical sound, the engagement of powerful systems, and the train begins to glide forward, smooth as silk, pulling away from the station with grace and power. You move to the window and look out, watching as the platform begins to slide past, the lamp post with its pool of golden light, the small station house,
all drifting backward as the train moves forward. The conductor is standing on the platform now, having stepped off the train, and raises a hand in farewell. You raise your own hand, pressing your palm against the cool glass of the window, a gesture of goodbye to the station, to the stillness, to the cold platform where you waited. The train picks up speed gradually, incrementally, the rhythm of the wheels on the rails establishing itself, that timeless sound, that ancient percussion. Click-clack, click-clack, click-clack. The sound is steady and hypnotic, a lullaby of motion, the heartbeat of the journey. Chapter 2. The Cabin Sanctuary.
You stand in the center of your cabin, feeling the gentle sway of the train beneath your feet, a motion that is already becoming familiar, already becoming part of your body's understanding of the world. The rocking is subtle, a soft pendulum movement from side to side, accompanied by the occasional slight forward and back motion as the train navigates the gentle curves in the track. It is not disorienting, rather it is soothing, like being rocked in a cradle, like the gentle motion of a boat on calm water. You turn slowly, taking in every detail of this small space that will be yours for the duration of the journey. The cabin is perhaps 8 feet long and 6 feet wide, dimensions that might seem confining in other contexts, but here feel perfectly proportioned, cozy rather than cramped, intimate rather than claustrophobic. Every surface has been considered, every element designed to maximize both function and beauty. The walls curve slightly where they meet the ceiling, following the rounded contour of the train car's exterior. This creates a sense of being enclosed, protected, held safely within the structure of the train. The wood paneling continues here, the same rich dark wood from the corridor, but in this private space you can examine it more closely, can run your fingers along its surface and feel the smoothness of the polish, the occasional subtle variation in the grain. You reach out and touch the wall beside you, letting your fingertips trace along the seam where 2 panels meet. The join is nearly invisible, the work of a master craftsman who understood that details matter, that perfection in small things creates an overall impression of quality and care. The wood is cool to the touch, but not cold, brought to room temperature by the efficient heating system that keeps the cabin so comfortable. The window dominates one wall, a large rectangle of glass that is currently reflecting the warm interior of the cabin back at you. You can see yourself in the glass, a shadowy figure surrounded by golden light, and beyond your reflection, nothing but darkness. The window is framed in polished brass, with small decorative details at the corners, flourishes that serve no functional purpose but exist purely to delight the eye. You move closer to the window and examine the latch mechanism, a beautiful piece of engineering that allows the window to be opened slightly for fresh air if desired. The latch is brass, like so much else on the train, and when you touch it, it moves smoothly, the mechanism well maintained and perfectly balanced. You decide to leave the window closed for now, preferring the cocoon of warmth to any intrusion of the cold night air outside.
Between the window and the wall, there is a radiator, an old-fashioned cast-iron radiator painted in a cream color that complements the wood tones of the cabin. You crouch down slightly and hold your hand near it, feeling the gentle heat radiating from its surface. The warmth is constant and even, not too hot, never fluctuating, just a steady source of comfort that takes the edge off any chill that might try to seep in from outside. The velvet bench seat beneath the window calls to you, and you move toward it, reaching out to touch the fabric before you sit. The velvet is deep blue, the color of the sky just after sunset, and when you brush your hand across it, you can feel the pile of the fabric, the way it shifts direction under your touch, creating patterns of light and shadow in the nap. The texture is luxurious, soft and dense, the kind of fabric that invites you to linger, to settle in and stay. You sit down slowly, feeling the cushion compress beneath your weight, the firm but yielding, providing support while still being comfortable. The seat is positioned at exactly the right height, allowing your feet to rest flat on the floor while your back can lean against the wall behind you. Someone has thought carefully about ergonomics, about the human body and its needs during a long journey. There are pillows on the seat, 3 of them, small decorative pillows covered in fabric that coordinates with the velvet but provides textual contrast. One is silk, smooth and cool to the touch, with a subtle sheen that catches the light. Another is embroidered, the surface raised with tiny stitches forming a pattern of stars and snowflakes, appropriate for a winter journey. The third is simple linen, nubby and natural, cream-colored and plain. You arrange them around yourself, creating a nest of comfort, a perfect spot for watching the world go by. The train continues its steady pace, and you can hear the rhythm of the wheels more clearly now that you are sitting still, now that you are paying attention. Click, clack, click, clack. A heartbeat, a metronome, a meditation. The sound is muffled by the walls and windows, but still present, a constant reminder that you are in motion, that you are traveling through the night towards some distant destination. You turn your attention to the small table that extends from the wall beside the window. It is hinged, designed to fold up when not in use, but someone has lowered it into position, creating a small surface perfect for a cup of tea or a book. The table is made of the same dark wood as everything else, and its surface is protected by a piece of glass cut to fit precisely, the edges polished smooth and safe.
On the table sits a small brass lamp, its design elegant and simple. The base is weighted, ensuring it will remain stable even when the train rocks or sways. The lamp is currently on, contributing to the warm glow that fills the cabin. And when you lean close, you can see that it uses a small incandescent bulb designed to mimic the warm yellow light of old gas lamps. There is a tiny switch on the base, a smooth brass toggle that moves with a satisfying click when you test it, turning the lamp off and then on again. Beside the lamp is a small brass dish, perhaps meant for holding pocket change or a watch, though it is currently empty.
The dish is engraved with a delicate pattern around its rim, more of that attention to detail, more of that commitment to beauty in even the smallest elements. You stand again and move toward the bed, drawn by the pristine perfection of the linens, the careful arrangement of the pillows. The bed is narrow but long, built into the wall as part of the cabin's structure, and it is positioned so that when you lie down, you will be parallel to the direction of travel, your head toward the front of the train, your feet toward the rear. The mattress is covered first with a fitted sheet, white and crisp, the fabric smooth and cool when you touch it. The corners are folded with hospital precision, tucked tightly beneath the mattress, creating clean lines and taut surfaces. Over this is a top sheet, equally white, equally crisp, turned down at the head of the bed to reveal the blanket beneath. The blanket is where color enters the composition. It is woven in a pattern of blue and silver, a geometric design that suggests snowflakes and stars, winter nights and crystal frost. The blanket is heavy, substantial, the kind of weight that feels secure and comforting when pulled up to your chin. You lift one corner and feel the texture, the weave of the fabric, the combination of wool and perhaps some silk that gives it both warmth and a subtle sheen.
Each pillow is covered in a white linen case, and the cases are finished with beautiful details. Hem stitching on some, tiny pearl buttons on others, delicate embroidery and white thread on white fabric that is visible only when the light hits it at certain angles. You press your hand against the pillow closest to you, feeling it compress and then slowly return to its original shape, the down filling redistributing itself with quiet rustling sounds. Above the bed, the reading lamp extends from the wall on its brass arm. You reach up and adjust it, finding that it moves smoothly through its full range of motion, tilting up and down, swinging left and right, allowing you to direct the light precisely where you want it. The lampshade is made of glass, frosted and etched with a simple pattern, and when the lamp is on, it creates a focused pool of light perfect for reading without disturbing the overall ambiance of the cabin. You notice a small shelf built into the wall beside the bed, at exactly the height where you might set down a glass of water or a pair of reading glasses before sleep. The shelf has a raised edge to prevent anything from sliding off when the train rocks, another thoughtful detail. Another example of design that anticipates needs before they arise. In the corner of the cabin, near the foot of the bed, is the small wash basin you noticed earlier. You move toward it now, drawn by the simple beauty of its arrangement. The basin itself is white porcelain, smooth and gleaming, shaped like a large bowl set into a small wooden counter. Above it, the mirror is positioned at exactly the right height, and when you look into it, you see your own face, slightly flushed from the transition from cold to warmth, your eyes bright with the pleasure of this comfortable space. The faucets are brass, of course, with white porcelain handles marked with C and H in elegant script. You turn the handle marked H, and water begins to flow, and after just a moment, steam rises from the stream, indicating that yes, there is indeed hot water, an almost miraculous luxury on a train traveling through the winter night. You let the water run over your hands, feeling the heat soak into your skin, banishing the last remnants of cold from the platform. The water is almost too hot at first, and you adjust the cold tap, creating a perfect temperature. and you wash your hands thoroughly, enjoying the simple pleasure of warm water and soap. The soap is wrapped in paper, and you unwrap it carefully, revealing a smooth oval cake of white soap that smells faintly of lavender and something else, perhaps rosemary. The scent is clean and herbal, not overpowering, just a subtle enhancement to the experience. The soap lathers easily, creating soft white bubbles that slip between your fingers, and you take your time, washing slowly, mindfully, feeling the texture of the soap against your skin, the slickness of the lather, the warmth of the water. When you finish, you turn off the taps and reach for the towel on the small shelf. The towel is white, thick and soft, the cotton plush and absorbent. You dry your hands carefully, feeling the nubby texture of the terry cloth, the way it soaks up the water and leaves your skin dry and warm. You fold the towel and replace it on the shelf, returning everything to its original state of order. Beside the wash basin, built into the wall, is a small wardrobe, just large enough to hang a few garments or store a small bag. You open the door and find that inside someone has already placed a few items for your use. A heavy cotton robe in deep burgundy, soft and thick and clearly meant for wrapping yourself in comfort. A pair of slippers lined with wool, simple and practical, and a thick pair of socks, also wool, cream-colored and hand-knit by the look of them. You remove your shoes, bending down to untie the laces slowly, methodically, pulling each bow apart and working the knot free. You ease your feet from the shoes and line them up neatly beside the wardrobe, toes pointed toward the wall, everything orderly. Your feet, freed from their confines, flex against the carpet, and you can feel the thick pile through your socks, the padding beneath that cushions every step. You sit on the edge of the bed and remove your outer socks, the ones you wore for warmth during your wait on the platform. Your feet are warm now, almost too warm, and you let them breathe for a moment, wiggling your toes, feeling the air of the cabin move around them. Then you reach for the hand-knit socks from the wardrobe, and you pull them on slowly, one foot and then the other, feeling the soft wool against your skin, the slight stretch of the knit, the way they cup your heels and surround your ankles with gentle warmth. Next come the slippers, and you slide your feet into them, feeling the wool lining, the firm sole that will protect your feet while still allowing you to feel the motion of the train. You stand and take a few steps, testing them, and they are perfect. Soft and warm and comfortable, exactly right for padding quietly around this small space. You reach for the robe and lift it from its hanger, feeling its weight in your hands. The fabric is substantial, heavy cotton with a slight texture to the weave, and when you shake it out, it falls in graceful folds. The deep burgundy color, rich and warming even to look at. You slip your arms into the sleeves, feeling the fabric slide along your skin, the cuffs falling to exactly the right point on your wrists. You pull the robe around yourself and tie the belt, a long strip of the same fabric that wraps twice around your waist before knotting in front. The robe is large and enveloping, creating a sensation of being wrapped, cocooned, protected. The collar is soft against your neck, and when you pull it up slightly, it frames your face with warmth and comfort. Thus dressed, or perhaps more accurately, undressed for comfort, you feel ready to truly settle in, to claim this space as your own for the duration of the journey.
You move back to the velvet bench seat by the window and lower yourself down again, this time arranging the pillows differently, creating perfect support for your back, your arms, your neck. The train rocks gently, steadily, and you rock with it, your body beginning to synchronize with its rhythm, to anticipate its movements. Click-clack, click-clack. The wheels sing their endless song, and you can feel each repetition through the seat beneath you, through the wall against your back, through the very air of the cabin. You notice now details you missed before. The way the wood grain on one panel seems to form the shape of a bird in flight. The tiny imperfection in the brass frame of the window, a small dent that somehow makes it more real, more authentic. The variation in the color of the carpet where the light hits it differently, creating subtle patterns of shadow and illumination. The ceiling above you is painted rather than paneled, a warm cream color that reflects the light from the lamps and makes the cabin feel larger, more open. There is a decorative molding where the ceiling meets the walls, a simple pattern carved into wood and painted to match, another detail that exists purely to add beauty to the space. You let your gaze travel around the cabin in a slow circle, taking in every element, every surface, every detail, claiming it all with your eyes, making it familiar, making it yours. This is your sanctuary now, your moving refuge, your warm haven in the cold night, and you feel a deep sense of contentment settling into your chest, a quiet happiness that requires nothing more than this: warmth, comfort, safety, and the gentle rocking of the train carrying you forward through the darkness.
Chapter 3. The Tea Ritual.
You have been sitting in the gentle embrace of the velvet seat for some time, watching your reflection in the dark window, listening to the rhythm of the train, when you hear a soft knock at the cabin door. The sound is quiet, respectful. 3 gentle taps of knuckles against wood, a request rather than a demand for attention. You rise from your seat, feeling the robe shift around you, the fabric settling back into place as you stand. Your slippered feet make almost no sound on the carpet as you move the few steps to the door. You reach for the brass handle, feeling its familiar weight and coolness, and turn it, pulling the door open. The conductor stands in the corridor, and in their hands is a tray. The tray is silver, polished to a soft gleam, oval in shape and substantial in size. Upon it rests an arrangement so carefully composed it might be a still life painting. A teapot, a cup and saucer, a small pitcher, a sugar bowl, and a plate bearing what appears to be biscuits, all positioned with thoughtful precision. "Your tea," the conductor says, with that same warm smile from earlier, and you step aside, allowing them to enter the cabin. The conductor moves with practiced ease, as if they could navigate this narrow space in complete darkness, as if they have performed this ritual hundreds of times, perhaps thousands, and each time with the same care and attention. The conductor approaches the small table by the window and sets the tray down with gentle accuracy,
the base of the tray meeting the glass surface of the table with barely a sound. The conductor makes a small adjustment, turning the tray slightly so that the handle of the teapot faces toward where you will sit, so that everything is positioned for your convenience. "Is there anything else you require?" the conductor asks, and you shake your head, smiling your thanks. The conductor nods, wishes you a peaceful evening, and slips back out into the corridor, closing the door with a soft click that restores your privacy and solitude. You stand for a moment, looking at the tray, at this gift of warmth and comfort that has appeared as if by magic. The steam is already rising from the spout of the teapot, delicate wisps of white vapor that curl upward and disappear into the air of the cabin, carrying with them the scent of the tea, a fragrance that is floral and citrus and mysterious all at once.
You return to your seat by the window, settling back into the nest of pillows you have created, and you turn your full attention to the tray before you. The teapot is beautiful, ceramic, glazed in a pale cream color, with delicate hand-painted flowers in soft blues and greens scattered across its rounded surface. The flowers are rendered simply but skillfully, each one unique, each one a tiny work of art. The pot has a curved spout and a handle that arches gracefully from body to lid, and the lid itself is topped with a small knob shaped like a rosebud. You can see the steam escaping from the small hole in the lid, a steady stream that indicates the tea inside is at the perfect temperature, hot but not boiling, ready to pour. The cup and saucer match the teapot, the same cream glaze, the same delicate flowers. The cup is larger than an espresso cup, but smaller than a mug, exactly the right size for savoring tea slowly, for holding in both hands to warm your palms while you sip. The saucer is rimmed with a subtle gold line, an accent that catches the lamplight and adds a touch of elegance to the simple design. Beside the teapot sits a small cream pitcher, white ceramic with a tiny pouring spout and a handle barely large enough for 2 fingers. You can see the cream inside, pale and thick, real cream rather than milk, the kind that will swirl into the tea, creating marbled patterns before dispersing. Next to the pitcher is a small sugar bowl with a tiny lid and an even tinier silver spoon resting beside it. The plate of biscuits occupies one corner of the tray, and on it are arranged 4 small cookies, golden brown and dusted with what appears to be coarse sugar that sparkles in the light. The biscuits are round and uniform, clearly made by someone who knows their craft, and they smell of butter and vanilla and something warm and spiced, perhaps cardamom or nutmeg. You reach forward and lift the teapot, feeling its weight, the heat of the ceramic against your palm, even through the handle. The pot is full, but not heavy, the weight distributed perfectly for pouring. You position the spout over the cup and begin to tip the pot forward, slowly, carefully, watching as the first drops of tea fall into the empty cup. The liquid that emerges is a beautiful amber color, clear and bright, catching the light like liquid gold. As you continue to pour, the stream grows steadier, a smooth arc of tea flowing from pot to cup, and you can hear the sound it makes, a gentle splashing that changes in pitch as the cup fills, rising from a low note to a higher one.
You fill the cup 3/4 full, leaving room for cream if you choose to add it, and then you carefully tip the pot back upright, allowing the last few drops to fall. A single drop clings to the spout, and you watch it for a moment before it falls, breaking the surface of the tea in the cup with the tiniest of ripples. You set the teapot back on the tray, positioning it exactly where it was before, and you turn your attention to the cup. The steam rises from it in greater volume now, carrying that complex scent more strongly. You lean forward slightly and inhale the fragrant steam into your nose, and you can identify notes of bergamot. Definitely bergamot, the distinctive citrus scent of Earl Grey tea. But there are other elements too, perhaps lavender, perhaps a hint of vanilla. You reach for the cream pitcher, lifting it with care, and you tip it over the cup, watching as the cream begins to fall. It is thick enough that it falls slowly, a white stream that hits the surface of the tea and immediately begins to create patterns, swirling and spiraling, cream and tea mixing in organic, unpredictable designs. You pour just a small amount, just enough to lighten the tea by a shade or two, and then you set the pitcher down. The sugar bowl calls to you next, and you lift the tiny lid, revealing the white crystals inside. The sugar is not the fine granulated kind, but rather rough-cut crystals, each one visible, each one catching the light. You take the small silver spoon and dip it into the sugar, lifting out a modest spoonful, and you hold it over the cup for a moment, watching the crystals catch the light, before tipping the spoon and letting the sugar fall. The crystals hit the surface of the tea and begin to sink, some dissolving immediately, others taking their time, spiraling down through the liquid like tiny transparent snowflakes. You take the spoon and lower it into the cup, and you begin to stir, moving the spoon in slow circles, creating a gentle whirlpool in the cup. The spoon is small but perfectly weighted, and it makes a delicate sound as it circles the cup, a soft chiming as silver touches ceramic, a sound that is musical and soothing, another rhythm to add to the click-clack of the train wheels. You stir for longer than necessary, enjoying the motion, the sound, the way the tea swirls and settles, swirls and settles. Finally, you lift the spoon from the cup and rest it on the saucer, where it belongs, a tiny silver line against the cream ceramic. You lift the cup, cradling it in both hands, feeling the warmth radiating through the ceramic into your palms, into your fingers. The cup is hot, but not uncomfortably so, just hot enough to be thoroughly warming, to drive away any last whisper of cold that might remain in your hands.
You bring the cup closer to your face, feeling the steam on your skin, feeling it warm your nose, your cheeks, your forehead. You inhale deeply, drawing in the scent of the tea, and then, finally, you bring the rim of the cup to your lips. The first sip is small, tentative, a test of temperature as much as taste. The tea touches your lips, and they register the heat, the wetness, and then the liquid is in your mouth, flowing over your tongue, touching every taste receptor with its complex flavor. The bergamot is there, definitely, a bright citrus note that sings at the front of your palate. Behind it comes the depth of the black tea itself, slightly astringent, robust, warming. The cream has softened it, rounded the edges, and the sugar has added just enough sweetness to balance without overwhelming. You swallow, feeling the tea travel down your throat, feeling the warmth spread from your mouth to your esophagus to your stomach, a line of heat that seems to radiate outward, warming you from the inside out. You close your eyes for a moment, savoring the sensation, the pure, simple pleasure of a perfect cup of tea. You take another sip, larger this time, more confident. The tea is exactly the right temperature now, hot enough to be comforting, cool enough to drink without hesitation. You let it linger in your mouth for a moment before swallowing, extracting every nuance of flavor, appreciating the care that went into its preparation. The train rocks gently beneath you, and the tea moves in your cup, tiny waves that lap at the edges but never spill. You have found the rhythm now, the way to move with the train rather than against it, the way to hold the cup so that it remains level even as the train sways. It becomes second nature, this compensation for motion, this dance between stillness and movement. You set the cup back in its saucer for a moment and reach for one of the biscuits. The cookie is still warm, you realize, as your fingers close around it, still retaining heat from the oven where it was baked, perhaps just an hour ago, perhaps even less. The surface is slightly rough from the coarse sugar, and when you lift it from the plate, a few grains of sugar fall away, catching the light as they tumble onto the tray. You bring the biscuit to your nose and inhale its scent. Butter, definitely butter, real butter in generous quantities. And yes, there is vanilla and something else, something warming and spiced. Cardamom, you decide, a perfect complement to the bergamot in the tea.
You bite into the biscuit, and it crumbles slightly, the texture crispy at the edges and softer toward the center. The flavor is immediate and satisfying, sweet but not too sweet, rich with butter, brightened by the vanilla and cardamom. The coarse sugar adds tiny bursts of sweetness and a pleasant textural contrast, little moments of crunch among the tender crumb. You chew slowly, thoroughly, extracting every bit of flavor before swallowing. The biscuit is rich, and you are glad it is small. Glad there are 4 of them rather than 2 large ones, because this way you can pace yourself, can intersperse bites of cookie with sips of tea, can create a rhythm of flavors and textures. You take another sip of tea, and the liquid washes away the richness of the butter, cleanses your palate, prepares you for the next bite. The tea and the biscuit are perfect together, each enhancing the other, the citrus of the tea cutting through the richness of the cookie, the sweetness of the cookie softening the astringency of the tea. You settle deeper into your seat, arranging the pillows to support you more completely, and you continue this ritual, this meditation of tea and biscuits. Sip, bite, chew, swallow. Sip, bite, chew, swallow. Each action performed with full attention, with complete presence, with no thought to anything beyond this moment, this cup, this small sweet thing dissolving on your tongue. The train continues its journey through the night, and you continue yours, this smaller, more intimate journey into warmth and comfort and simple pleasure. Outside the window, the darkness is complete, unbroken by any light, and your reflection looks back at you from the glass, a figure wrapped in burgundy, holding a delicate cup, moving gently with the rocking of the train. You finish the first biscuit and reach for the second, and the process begins again. This time, you notice different things. The way the sugar crystals catch between your teeth, the way a crumb falls on your robe and you brush it away, the way the warmth of the tea seems to spread not just through your body, but through your mind, bringing with it a sense of ease, of relaxation, of letting go. The second cup of tea is even better than the first, perhaps because you know exactly what to expect now, perhaps because your palate has been prepared, awakened by that first cup. You pour more carefully this time, watching the stream of liquid more closely, appreciating the mechanics of the pot, the way the spout directs the flow, the way the handle provides leverage and balance.
You add cream again, and you watch the patterns it makes. And this time, the swirls seem different, creating shapes that your mind wants to interpret as pictures, as symbols. Though you know they are random, just the interaction of liquids of different densities and temperatures. Still, you see a fern, or perhaps a feather, or perhaps neither. Just beautiful abstract forms that exist for a moment before dispersing. The sugar dissolves more quickly in this second cup, and your stirring is more efficient, more confident. The spoon traces perfect circles, and the sound it makes is a familiar friend now, a small music that accompanies this moment. The third biscuit disappears slowly, each bite measured and deliberate, each chew prolonged to extract maximum flavor. You are not hungry, you were never hungry, but the act of eating this small sweet thing is pleasurable in itself, a ritual that has nothing to do with sustenance and everything to do with comfort, with treating yourself with gentleness and care. Your second cup of tea is consumed over many minutes, perhaps 15, perhaps 20. You have lost track of time, and it doesn't matter. The train is taking you where you need to go, and you are taking yourself where you need to be. Here, now, present, aware, content. You pour a third cup, though you know you may not finish it, and you prepare it the same way, cream and sugar, stirring with that small silver spoon, creating that gentle music. The teapot is lighter now, nearly empty, and when you pour you must tip it further, must be more careful to ensure a smooth flow. This third cup you drink more slowly still, taking tiny sips, letting long moments pass between them. The tea is beginning to cool now, no longer steaming as vigorously, no longer almost too hot to drink. It is becoming the perfect temperature for savoring, for holding in your mouth, for appreciating fully without any discomfort from heat. The fourth biscuit remains on the plate, and you regard it fondly, but make no move to eat it. Perhaps you will have it later, you think. Perhaps it will be there for you in an hour or 2 hours. A small treat waiting patiently on its plate, ready whenever you desire it.
You lean back against the pillows and hold the teacup in both hands, feeling the warmth that remains, feeling the weight of the liquid inside, the delicate balance of the cup in the saucer. The train rocks and you rock with it, and the tea moves in the cup. Gentle waves, harmless and hypnotic. Outside, you know, the world is cold and dark and wild. Snow is falling, wind is blowing. The temperature is far below freezing. But here, in this cabin, wrapped in this robe, holding this cup, you are warm and safe and perfectly, completely content. The tea has done its work, not just warming your body, but soothing your mind, creating a sense of well-being that pervades everything, that colors every thought and feeling with gentleness and peace. You take another sip and another, until the cup is finally empty, except for a few drops at the very bottom, and you set it down in its saucer with a sense of completion, of satisfaction, of a small ritual perfectly performed and deeply appreciated. Chapter 4. The Window View. You shift your position on the velvet seat, turning your body more fully toward the window, arranging the pillows behind you so that you can lean against them comfortably while gazing out into the night. The window is large, taking up most of the wall, and now that you are settled and still, now that the tea has warmed you from within and the ritual of drinking has quieted your mind, you are ready to truly see what lies beyond the glass. At first, there is only darkness. Your eyes have been adjusted to the warm golden light of the cabin, and the world outside appears as nothing more than a black void. An absence of light, so complete it seems almost solid. But you are patient. You sit quietly, breathing slowly, and you allow your eyes time to adjust, time to find the subtle variations in that darkness, the hints of shape and form that exist even in the deepest night. Gradually, slowly, the darkness begins to differentiate itself. You start to perceive layers, depths, variations in the quality of black. There is the sky, a shade of darkness that is somehow lighter than the land below it. A deep blue-black that suggests infinite space above. And there is the earth, darker still, a dense blackness that speaks of solidity, of ground and trees and accumulated snow. The moon must be behind the clouds still, because there is no direct moonlight visible, but there is a diffuse glow nonetheless, a luminescence that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere, the way light exists in winter nights, when snow covers everything and reflects back even the faintest illumination from sky to ground and ground to sky in an endless conversation of light. As your eyes adjust further, details begin to emerge. The first thing you see clearly is snow falling. The flakes are visible against the darkness, small white fragments moving downward in the night. And you can track individual flakes for a moment before losing them in the general pattern of falling snow. The flakes are moving past the window at speed because the train is moving, and they create diagonal streaks in your vision, lines of white against black, a constant stream like stars in a time-lapse photograph. Then you begin to see the trees. They appear first as darker shapes against the already dark landscape, vertical forms that interrupt the horizontal flow of the land. Pine trees, you realize. Coniferous trees with their characteristic silhouettes, triangular and layered, their branches weighted with snow. The trees are close to the tracks in some places, and you can see individual branches, each one heavy with its white burden, creating shapes like arms reaching out, like hands offering gifts of snow to the passing train.
The train follows the tracks through a forest, and the trees parade past your window in an endless procession. Each tree is unique when you look closely, each one shaped differently by its particular history of growth and wind and weather. Some are tall and straight, reaching confidently toward the sky.
Others are bent or twisted, survivors of some past storm, growing at angles that suggest resilience and determination. Between the trees, you catch glimpses of the forest floor, though the darkness makes details difficult to discern. There is snow, certainly, covering everything in a smooth white blanket that erases the usual texture of fallen leaves and undergrowth, creating a simplified landscape of pure form and shadow. Here and there, darker shapes protrude through the snow, fallen logs, perhaps, or large rocks, or the stumps of trees long since cut or fallen. The rhythm of the passing trees is hypnotic. Tree, gap, tree, gap, tree, gap. The spacing irregular, but creating a pattern nonetheless. A visual rhythm that complements the auditory rhythm of the wheels on the rails. Click, clack, tree. Click, clack, gap. Click, clack, tree. Your eyes move from one tree to the next, never quite able to focus on any single one before it has passed and the next has taken its place. The train rounds a gentle curve, and the view changes. The forest opens up slightly, and you can see further into the distance. There is a clearing, perhaps, or a frozen meadow, a space where the trees have stepped back and allowed the land to breathe. The snow in this open space appears lighter, brighter, reflecting more of that mysterious ambient light, and you can see the gentle undulations of the land, the way it rises and falls in soft waves like frozen ocean swells. Far in the distance, so far you almost miss them, there are lights. Tiny points of warm yellow light, perhaps from a farmhouse, perhaps from a small village, signs of human habitation in this vast winter wilderness. The lights are steady, unmoving, and they seem impossibly distant, impossibly small, like stars that have fallen to earth and gotten caught in the landscape. You watch these lights for as long as they remain visible, feeling a connection to whoever might be awake at this late hour in that distant dwelling. Are they warm? Are they safe? Do they hear the train passing in the night? Do they ever wonder about the passengers on board, about the lives being lived in these small, moving rooms of warmth and light? The lights disappear as the train moves on, swallowed by distance and returning forest, and you feel a small pang of loss, a farewell to that brief connection with the distant unknown. But there will be other lights, you know. There will be other small signs of civilization in this winter night, other reminders that you are not completely alone in the darkness. The forest returns, denser now, the trees pressing closer to the tracks. In some places, the branches of the trees on either side nearly meet above the rails, creating a tunnel of darkness through which the train passes. And in these moments, the view from your window is nothing but the trunks of trees rushing past, vertical lines of dark bark visible in the spill of light from the train's windows. Then the forest opens again, and you see something new. Water. A frozen lake appears beside the tracks, a vast expanse of ice that stretches away into the darkness. The surface of the ice is smooth in places, rough in others, covered with a thin layer of snow that the wind has sculpted into patterns, into ripples and waves that mimic the liquid water that existed here before winter locked everything in ice. The lake is beautiful in its stillness, in its frozen silence. You can see cracks in the ice, dark lines that spiderweb across the pale surface, evidence of the tremendous forces at work as water freezes and expands, as ice shifts and settles. Near the shore, there are reeds poking up through the ice, brown and dried and coated with snow, standing in silent witness to the changing seasons. The train follows the shoreline of the lake for a long while, and you watch the ice pass by, mesmerized by its subtle variations, by the way the light plays across its surface, by the patterns in the snow that covers it. Here and there, you see darker spots on the ice, places where the snow has been blown away and the ice beneath is visible, dark and mysterious and impossibly thick. Then, almost startling in its suddenness, there is a deer. It stands at the edge of the forest, just at the boundary between trees and lake, and it turns its head to watch the train pass. You can see its eyes reflecting the light from the train, two bright points of green gold in the darkness, and you can see the white of its tail, the delicate shape of its ears. The deer stands perfectly still, unafraid, or perhaps simply curious, and for a moment you lock eyes with this wild creature, this being whose life is so different from your own. And then the train carries you past, and the deer is gone, vanished back into the darkness from which it emerged. Your heart lifts at this encounter, this gift of wildness in the winter night. You settle back against your pillows, smiling, feeling grateful for the sight of that deer, for the reminder that the world outside your warm cabin is alive, is populated by creatures going about their mysterious lives while you travel through their territory in your cocoon of warmth and light. The lake ends, and the forest returns, and the rhythm of passing trees resumes. The snow continues to fall, never heavy, never stopping, just a constant, gentle descent of white flakes that softens every edge, that blurs every boundary, that makes the whole world seem gentler, quieter, more peaceful. You notice now that your breath is creating a small patch of fog on the window, a circle of condensation where the warmth of your exhalation meets the cold glass. You reach out and touch the window with your fingertip, feeling the cold strike through the glass, so different from the warmth of the cabin. The glass is smooth and hard, a barrier between inside and outside, between warm and cold, between you and the winter night. You draw a small pattern in the condensation, a simple spiral that begins at a point and expands outward, and you watch as the moisture slowly begins to evaporate, as your drawing gradually fades, returning the glass to clarity. It is a small act, meaningless perhaps, but it pleases you, this tiny moment of creation and dissolution. The train begins to climb. You can feel it in the angle of your body against the seat, in the slight increase in effort you can hear from the engine somewhere far ahead. The tracks are rising, following the contours of the land, climbing a long, gentle grade into higher country. The trees here are different, slightly smaller, more weathered by the constant wind that must blow across these exposed slopes. As you climb, the view opens up. To your right, the land falls away, creating a vista that stretches for miles into the darkness. You can see the shapes of distant hills, dark mounds rising from the snow-covered earth, and beyond them, more hills, layer after layer, receding into the distance until they are lost in the darkness and the falling snow. The sense of space is profound, and it makes you feel simultaneously very small and very safe. You are a tiny point of warmth and consciousness moving through this vast landscape, but you are protected. You are secure. You are held safely by this train that knows its path, that follows its rails with confidence and certainty. At the top of the grade, the tracks level out, and for a moment the view on both sides of the train is of nothing but sky and distant earth, as if you are traveling along the ridge of the world, balanced between heaven and earth. The sensation is exhilarating and peaceful all at once, and you press closer to the window, trying to take in as much as possible, trying to hold this moment in your memory. Then the train begins to descend, the downward slope gentle like the upward was, and the land rises on either side again, and the trees return, and you are back in the forest, back in the intimate enclosed world of trunks and branches and falling snow. You see more lights now, more frequently than before. A cluster of lights that might be a small town, still distant but closer than the farmhouse was. You can see the warm glow of windows, the slightly different light of street lamps, perhaps the colored lights of a sign somewhere, though you are too far away to read it or know what it might say. The town slides past in the distance, a small constellation of warmth and life, and then it too is gone, left behind as the train continues its journey.
A road runs parallel to the tracks for a while, close enough that you could see a car if one passed, but no cars appear. The road is empty, covered in snow. Two faint tracks visible where perhaps a single vehicle traveled earlier in the evening before the snow covered its passage. The road is a ribbon of lighter color against the dark land, and it winds through the forest alongside the train, like a companion, like a friend traveling the same direction at the same speed. Then the road curves away, disappearing into the trees on some journey of its own, and the train is alone again with the forest and the night. You see a bridge ahead, or rather, you sense it more than see it, a feeling of space opening up beneath the train, a subtle change in the sound of the wheels as they pass over a different kind of structure. You lean closer to the window and look down, and yes, there is a river below, a dark ribbon of water that has not yet frozen completely, that still flows beneath the thin crust of ice, still makes its way through the winter landscape toward some distant sea. The bridge is brief, and then you are back on solid ground, back among the trees, and the river is behind you, continuing its own journey through the night just as you continue yours. The falling snow seems to intensify slightly, the flakes larger now, more visible, creating a curtain of white that makes distant vision difficult, but that adds to the sense of enclosure, of intimacy, of being held within a small protected space while the world outside does its wild and beautiful work. You watch the snow fall past the window, each flake catching the light from the train, glittering briefly before vanishing into the darkness. The flakes are falling faster now, because the train is moving through them, and they create streaks, lines, patterns that your eyes try to follow but cannot, because there are too many, because they are moving too fast, because they blend into a general impression of whiteness and motion.
Time passes. You don't know how much time. It could be 30 minutes or 2 hours. The train rocks, the wheels click, the trees pass, the snow falls, and you watch it all with a mind that has grown quiet and still, that has released the need to analyze or categorize or judge, that simply receives what the window offers: darkness and light, movement and stillness, the endlessly varying sameness of a winter night seen from a moving train. Your eyelids are growing heavy now. The warmth of the cabin, the gentle rocking of the train, the hypnotic parade of trees and snow, the fullness in your belly from the tea and biscuits, all of it combines to create a deep and pervasive drowsiness. You blink slowly, once, twice, fighting to keep your eyes open because the view is so beautiful, because you don't want to miss anything. But the pull of sleep is strong, and you can feel yourself beginning to surrender to it, beginning to let go of wakefulness and drift towards something deeper, something more restful. The window is still there, the view is still unfolding, but your eyes are no longer quite focused, and the images are blurring, merging, becoming dreamlike even before you sleep.
Chapter 5. Drifting Off. You realize, with the slow, gentle awareness of someone already half asleep, that it is time to move from the window seat to the bed. The thought forms slowly in your mind, lazy and unhurried, and you don't act on it immediately. You sit for another moment, or perhaps another several moments, watching the snow fall, watching the trees pass, letting the rhythm of the train rock you, like a parent rocks a sleepy child. Finally, you stir. You shift your weight forward, preparing to arise, and the movement feels strange after sitting so still for so long. Your muscles have relaxed deeply, have settled into the contours of the velvet seat, and they protest gently as you ask them to engage again, to lift you up, to move you the short distance from seat to bed. You stand slowly, feeling the heaviness in your limbs, the pleasant weight of drowsiness that makes every movement deliberate and careful. The burgundy robe shifts around you as you move, the fabric heavy and warm against your skin, and you pull it more tightly closed, tying the belt once more, even though it doesn't really need tying, simply because the action is comforting, familiar, grounding. Your slippered feet whisper against the carpet as you take the few steps from the window to the bed. It is not far, perhaps 3 steps, perhaps 4, but in your drowsy state it feels like a significant journey, and you are glad when you arrive, when you can reach out and steady yourself with one hand against the wall while you look down at the bed that awaits you. The bed looks impossibly inviting. The linens are still crisp and smooth, undisturbed since the conductor prepared them, and the pillows are still arranged in their careful gradation, waiting for you to disarrange them, to make them yours, to press them into service for sleep. The blanket, with its pattern of blue and silver, catches the lamplight and seems to glow softly, and you can almost feel its weight already, can almost imagine how it will feel when you pull it up over your shoulders. But first, there are small rituals to complete, preparations to make. You move to the wash basin,
your steps slow and measured, and you turn on the water, adjusting it until it runs warm but not hot. You cup your hands beneath the stream and bring the water to your face, splashing it gently against your skin, feeling the pleasant shock of wetness, feeling the water run down your cheeks and drip from your chin.
The water wakes you slightly, just enough to perform these final tasks, and you reach for the hand towel, pressing it against your face, feeling the soft terry cloth absorb the moisture. You dry your face carefully, thoroughly, and then you hang the towel back on its hook, taking a moment to smooth it flat, to restore order even in this small thing. You catch sight of yourself in the mirror above the wash basin, and the face that looks back at you is soft, relaxed, the eyes heavy-lidded, the expression peaceful. You look like someone ready for sleep, someone who has been gentled by warmth and tea and the rocking of the train into a state of perfect receptivity to rest. You turn away from the mirror and move to the small lamp on the reading arm above the bed. You reach up and adjust it, turning it so that it shines down on the pillows, creating a small pool of light for the final moments before sleep. The brass arm moves smoothly, silently, and you position it with care, making sure the light falls exactly where you want it. Then you move to the small table by the window, where the tea tray still sits, the pot empty now, the cup and saucer waiting to be collected in the morning. You reach up to the main cabin lights, to the small brass switch on the wall, and you turn them down. The lights don't go completely out, but they dim significantly, reducing to a soft golden glow that is barely more than candlelight, just enough illumination to see by, not enough to disturb the atmosphere of approaching sleep. With the main lights dimmed, the cabin transforms. The shadows deepen in the corners. The warm glow becomes warmer still, more golden, more liquid. The space feels smaller now, more intimate, more like a nest or a cocoon, a safe, protected place designed specifically for rest. You return to the bed and lower yourself down onto its edge, sitting where you sat earlier when you removed your outer socks and put on the slippers. The mattress compresses slightly beneath your weight, and you can feel its firmness, its support, the quality of its construction. This is not a thin mattress, not a temporary accommodation. This is a real bed, properly made, designed for actual sleep, for genuine rest.
You swing your legs up onto the bed, lifting your feet from the floor, and you lie back against the pillows, still wearing the robe, still fully covered. The pillows compress beneath your head and shoulders, conforming to your shape, providing support exactly where you need it. You adjust slightly, wiggling into the perfect position, and the pillows shift with you, accommodating your movements, creating a custom cradle for your upper body. You reach down and take hold of the blanket, grasping its edge with both hands, and you pull it up over yourself, feeling its weight settle onto your body like a gentle hand, like a blessing, like a promise of warmth and safety. The blanket is heavy, but not oppressively so, just substantial enough to feel secure,
to create that pleasant sensation of being held, being contained, being protected. You pull the blanket up to your chin, tucking it in around your shoulders, and the warmth begins to build immediately, your body heat trapped beneath the layers of fabric, creating a microclimate of perfect comfort. The top sheet is smooth against your neck where it folds over the blanket, cool and crisp and pleasant, and you adjust it slightly, making sure it lies flat, making sure there are no wrinkles to irritate your skin. The robe is becoming too warm now that you are beneath the blanket, and you sit up slightly, loosening the belt, shrugging the robe from your shoulders. You pull your arms from the sleeves and let the robe fall away, leaving you in your comfortable clothes, the soft layers you wore beneath it. You fold the robe roughly and set it aside, within reach but not on the bed, and then you lie back down, pulling the covers up once more. This is better. The fabric of your clothes against the fabric of the sheets, the weight of the blanket on top, the support of the mattress beneath, all the layers working together to create the perfect environment for sleep. You are not too hot, not too cold, not uncomfortable in any way. Everything is exactly right. The train rocks gently, steadily, and now that you are lying down, now that you are horizontal, the rocking feels different. It feels more pronounced, more present in your body. You can feel yourself swaying slightly with each motion of the train, your body moving in response to the movement of your bed. And the sensation is deeply, profoundly soothing. Rock to the left, rock to the right, rock forward, rock back. A complex three-dimensional movement that never stops, that never becomes jarring, that only ever soothes.
Click-clack, click-clack, click-clack. The wheels on the rails sing their endless song, and the rhythm is inside you now, has become part of your heartbeat, part of your breathing. You don't have to think about it anymore, don't have to track it consciously. It is simply there, a constant presence, as reliable as gravity, as inevitable as time. You turn onto your side, the position you prefer for sleep, and you pull one of the softer pillows down into your arms, hugging it against your chest. The pillow is cool against your cheek, where you rest your face against it, and the sensation is pleasant, grounding, comforting. You adjust the pillow beneath your head, pushing it into a new shape, creating the perfect support for your neck, and your body settles more deeply into the mattress, releasing another layer of tension, letting go a little more. The cabin is quiet, except for the sounds of the train. There is no other noise, no voices, no footsteps in the corridor, no distant music or conversation. Just the train sounds, the wheels, the gentle creaking of wood and metal as the car flexes with the curves in the track, the very faint sound of steam and air moving through pipes somewhere in the walls. These sounds are not disturbing. They are the sounds of safety, the sounds of a machine functioning properly, carrying you through the night with care and competence. You open your eyes for a moment and look around the dimmed cabin. The reading lamp above you creates a small pool of light that includes your pillow and part of the blanket, leaving the rest of the cabin in soft shadow. You can see the window, a dark rectangle now,
The view outside completely black because your eyes have readjusted to the light of the cabin and can no longer perceive the subtle variations in the darkness beyond the glass. You can see the outline of the velvet seat where you sat earlier, the ghost of your form still visible in the compressed fabric. You can see the tea tray on the small table, the teapot and cup catching tiny points of light. You can see the door, closed and secure, the brass handle gleaming dully. Everything is in its place. Everything is as it should be. You close your eyes again, and the darkness behind your eyelids is warm and red, colored by the blood flowing close beneath the thin skin, lit from within by the lamp above. You could reach up and turn off the lamp, could plunge the cabin into near complete darkness. But you don't. You like this gentle glow, this sense that there is still a small light watching over you, protecting you, keeping the deeper darkness at bay.
Your breathing is slowing down now, deepening, each breath taking longer than the last. Inhale, slow and steady, feeling your chest expand, feeling the air fill your lungs. Pause. Exhale, equally slow, feeling your chest fall, feeling the air leave your body. Pause. Inhale again. The pauses between breaths are growing longer, more pronounced, and in those pauses there is a particular kind of stillness, a particular quality of peace. The weight of the blanket on your body feels heavier now, or perhaps you feel lighter beneath it, less substantial, less tethered to the physical world. Your limbs are completely relaxed, lying in positions that would become uncomfortable if held for hours while awake, but that in sleep will be perfectly fine, will be exactly right. Your muscles have released their grip, have let go of the constant low-level tension that maintains posture and readiness during waking hours. Your mind is quieting too, thoughts becoming less frequent, less coherent, less important. Images drift through your consciousness, random and disconnected. A deer standing in snow, the swirl of cream in tea, the pattern of grain in wood, falling snow, distant lights, all of it softening, blurring, losing definition as sleep approaches. The train rocks, and you rock with it, and the boundary between you and the train is becoming less clear. You are part of the train now, part of its rhythm, part of its journey. Where you end and it begins is no longer obvious, no longer important. You are the train is you, and together you are moving through the winter night, traveling toward dawn, though dawn is still hours away, still beyond the horizon, still just a promise and not yet a reality. You feel yourself sinking, not physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sinking down through layers of consciousness like sinking through water, each layer darker than the one before, each layer quieter, each layer more peaceful. The surface is far above you now, the bright, busy world of thoughts and concerns and things to do, and you are descending away from it, leaving it behind, going down into the deep waters of sleep where there are no thoughts, no concerns, no things to do, only rest, only peace, only the soft, dark warmth of unconsciousness.
The train's rhythm is slower now, or perhaps it only seems slower because you are moving into a different relationship with time, a different way of experiencing duration. Each click of the wheels takes longer, stretches out, becomes almost a separate event rather than part of a continuous sound. Click, clack, click, clack. Each sound distinct, each sound perfect, each sound carrying you deeper into sleep.
Your breathing has synchronized with the train, or perhaps the train has synchronized with your breathing, and each breath is a journey in itself, a small, complete cycle of filling and emptying, of taking in and letting go. The air moving through your nose, through your throat, into your lungs, expanding your chest, and then the reverse, the exhale, the release, the return. Over and over, automatic and perfect, your body knowing exactly what to do without any conscious direction. There is warmth everywhere now, not just in the cabin, but inside you. A gentle heat that radiates from your core to your extremities, to your fingers and toes, warming everything, relaxing everything. The warmth is like liquid, like honey, flowing through your veins, filling all the spaces inside you with golden, peaceful heat. The edges of your awareness are softening, fraying, becoming less distinct. You are losing track of where your body ends, losing the clear sense of your boundaries. You are becoming diffused, spreading out, merging with the bed, with the cabin, with the train, with the night itself. This is not frightening. This is exactly right. This is how it should be. This dissolution of self into sleep. This release of identity into the embrace of unconsciousness. Somewhere far away, as if in another world, another lifetime, the train continues its journey. It climbs hills and descends into valleys. It passes through forests and alongside frozen lakes. It crosses bridges and travels through small, sleeping towns. The snow continues to fall, gentle and constant, covering the world in white. The night continues its slow rotation toward dawn. But these things are distant now, irrelevant, happening in a world you have left behind. You are here, in this bed, in this cabin, in this perfect moment of transition between waking and sleeping. And you are letting go of thought, letting go of awareness, letting go of consciousness itself. The last thing you notice is the rhythm, still there, still constant, still carrying you forward. Click, clack, click, clack. And then even that fades, dissolves into the general warmth and darkness and peace. And you are asleep. Deeply, completely, perfectly asleep. The train rocks on through the winter night, carrying its precious cargo of sleeping passengers, keeping you safe and warm and protected while you dream. The wheels turn on the rails,
clicking their eternal rhythm. The snow falls soft and silent against the windows. The heater hums its quiet song. The lamp glows its gentle gold. And you sleep. You sleep, and the night passes, and the journey continues, and all is well, all is peaceful, all is exactly as it should be. The snowy express travels on through the darkness, and within its warm embrace you rest and dream, and let the hours of the night carry you gently toward the morning that will come eventually, but not yet, not yet. For now there is only this, warmth and safety, and the deep, perfect peace of sleep on a train traveling through a winter night.
The end. Sleep well, traveler. The night is long, but you are safe. Let the rhythm of the rails carry you into dreams. And when morning comes, you will wake refreshed, still traveling, still held in the gentle embrace of the snowy express.